am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers channel, and welcome to today's DRFC Daily Reports, bringing you the latest news, transfer activity, and also reports coming in and around Doncaster Rovers Football Club and the Football League. Now, today's episode is a big one, just like the previous one. We focused on the VAR and the handball rule at the end. Today's video, we're going to be discussing why Darren Moore thinks the Loanees have settled in really quickly. We're going to be discussing a football transfer exclusive in that we are one of the many clubs in League One after a centre midfielder that's just been released by a Premier League club. So we've got an exclusive report on that. And then the second half of this video, we're going to be sharing a couple of bits of information from a couple of different sources online about financing football. Because I've got a couple of theories, and I've shared it with other people in the past, about what we need to do to make our lower league survive. So with that, we do have an article from this open letter that's being decided, and people calling people out, and also sharing with you a bit of money in football politics and stuff like that. So for all of that to come, prepare yourself. This is going to be a big episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. And for now, guys, let's get into talking about the latest DRFC Daily Reports. So kicking off, we have a Free Press article with Darren Moore reaching out to the Free Press, and it's answering why he thinks his Loanees have settled in so quickly at the club. Now, Darren Moore believes the in-depth research carried out on Doncaster Rovers' latest crop of loan signings has helped their smooth transition into the side. The likes of Taylor Richards, Joseph Bursic and Tyrese john-jules have all impressed since joining the club and look set to be important players throughout the season. Moore says the identifying the right sort of character as well as how they fit into the system and style of play is vitally important in ensuring potential signings will settle in quickly. But he insists that the quickest route to a seamless transition is when players turn into strong performances to help show themselves they are suited to playing at the club and feel immediately comfortable in their new surroundings. Now, the official comments from Moore to the Free Press states as follows. They've been identified as individuals and that will come in and fit the system and will benefit us, so I think it in itself has helped them settle down. But also when they play the way they do and you work on certain things which do come off, that helps too. Credit to them because they've got on to put the work in. You've given them the ideas and they've got to pull them off, which is exactly what they've done. It's the culture really, just a togetherness. They all get on really well with each other and we're just all working together with staff and players. And of course we know that the fourth Loanee, Tulloch, is nursing the hamstring injury that will keep him out of action for the next fortnight. So one other Loanee is out, but the other ones have settled in just as good as Tulloch has done himself. So there we go. That is a big story about the Loanees. They've settled in really quickly, and I think I've noticed that as well, and I know a lot of fans, if not nearly all the fan base, has noticed that the Loanees have settled in pretty quickly. Even before Tulloch got injured, Tulloch has settled in really quickly into this side, and when he gets back from injury, it won't be a digress, it'll be a progress. The injury will progress him. Because I think coming back from that injury in the next fortnight, I think Tulloch's going to be vitally important to provide that wing option. We know Lakilo obviously is covering for that option at the minute. And look at the other Loanees then. Bursic, Richards, john-jules. I think all three of them, just like Tulloch, have settled in just as good, if not better. And john-jules, he got the first goal. He wasn't scoring in the Bristol Rovers match this past weekend. However, he did get involved in the match. He did provide some fantastic, movement in the ball, movement off the ball, great assisting work in the goals, and great player overall. Taylor Richards, past couple of games, in fact all this season, all the attacks, or pretty much nearly all the attacks, were going through him. So he's been a main attacking threat for the club. And looking at Bursic, clean sheet stopper. Maybe, obviously not on the stat sheet, it's not clean sheets, but, I'm pretty sure he is one of those clean sheet stoppers, and I think just not conceding one goal, because don't forget, last three matches we scored 1 in a 1-1 draw, we scored 3 in a 3-1 win, and we scored 4 in a 4-1 win. Next week we could score 5 in a 5-1 win. I want to get some clean sheets onto Bursic. I want to see clean sheets on Bursic. So hopefully we can start getting some more clean sheets rather than conceding one goal by the opposition. And hopefully Bursic can get some clean sheets to his name. But he is a clean sheet stopper goalkeeper. He could stop goals to provide clean sheets if he can. So I think that Bursik, he's made some wonderful saves this season. Hopefully we can get him the clean sheets to rectify that. And, you know, Bursik's been a great signing this season as well. So that all the loanees are settled in really, really quickly. And they've all been fantastic new signings. Speaking of new signings, we have an exclusive report from an insider on a former Premier League youngster that potentially Rovers are looking into. So this report comes from Football Insider, and this is saying to us that Portsmouth, as well as Hull City, Blackpool, MK Dons and Doncaster Rovers are interested in signing Jake Doyle-Hayes on a free transfer from his exit from Premier League Aston Villa, understood by the Football Insider. The 21-year-old, who is a product of the Villains youth system, left the Premier League side at the end of his contract earlier this summer and has secured the attention of a number of clubs across the Football League. Now, the recruitment sources told the Football Insider that Portsmouth, Hull, Blackpool, Doncaster and MK Dons are the clubs battling for his signature. Now, DoyleHayes played 3 times for Villa's senior side after breaking through the youth ranks, with all of his appearances coming amongst the starting 11 in the League Cup between 2017 and 2018. Now, as well as this, the majority of his senior experience has come from loan spells at both Cambridge Town, where he featured 6 times, and at Cheltenham Town, where he made 36 appearances and helped the club to the League Two playoffs last season. He's a Republic of Ireland, a centre midfielder. He also featured in every one of his country's youth teams up to the under-21s. He's out of contract, but his performances are catching the eye of those Football League clubs. The Pompey boss Kenny Jackett is in the market to bolster his midfield and identified DoyleHayes as someone who's both able to step into the side and available to sign. The South Coast outfit has had an indifferent start to that League One campaign and currently sit 21st after 2 draws and a defeat. But even though Portsmouth are looking to sign him, I think the other clubs, Hull, Blackpool, MK and especially Doncaster, could sign him as well. So big signing there, potentially, for either one of these clubs, including our club. Now, Jake Doyle-Hayes, Aston Villa, under-21s, centre midfielder. I spoke about this guy. You remember way back a couple of months ago when I spoke about this guy as potentially maybe one of the Premier League teenage midfielders we could look for in this crop of trialists, because of course one of the criteria from the first crop of trialists was a Premier League released midfielder, and I sort of shortlisted Jake Doyle-Hayes as potentially one of them. Obviously it wasn't, but I reckon that would be a great signing for Rovers. You've got to remember, he's helped Cheltenham Town to the playoff semi-finals in last season's League 2. You might think, yeah, League 2. Don't forget, we've got players from League 2. We've got players that came from League 2. Brad Halliday, one of the best right-backs we've had in ages, came on a free transfer after ending his contract at Cambridge United. So, I mean, Cambridge is doing fantastically well this season so far. But, you know, they were the biggest club in League 2. We got him on a free transfer, and he's turned to one of our best right-backs for the last 5 years. So, you know, we can pick up these League 2 gems. I mean, Bursik, you know, on loan at Accrington Stanley the previous season from Stoke. Accrington, I'd say, even though they've pulled out a few surprises over the last couple of seasons, and, you know, they're usually a mid-table League 1 side now, they were favourites in the past to go back down to League 2. You know, we've picked up that kind of target. You know, and there's been other fantastic targets, I mean, from League 2 that we've picked up over the years. And, you know, Jake Doyle-Hayes, who's had experience with 2 League 2 sides, he could be another one. And under 21 on a free transfer. I mean, what more could you wish for to get a Premier League side young midfielder with so much potential in him on a free contract? It's like signing Cameron John for a nominal fee. Oh wait, we did that. And you know, we could pull off another Premier League bargain. We could get this young up and coming midfielder. And to be fair, Darren Morris said he wants to look for another holding midfielder. And Doyle-Hayes can do the job. He can do the holding midfield job. So he would be someone that we could look after. Now, looking at the other clubs that was mentioned in that article from the Football Insider that's in for him, Portsmouth, Hull, Blackpool, MK Dons. Portsmouth, maybe. I mean, they could look at other targets because it is Portsmouth. They can have other options available. And I think they may go for another option, even though Jackett is very fond of maybe signing Doyle-Hayes. Blackpool, I think they've got enough midfield options already. If they want another one, fair enough, but I think they'll look somewhere else. MK Dons, I don't think he'll go there. And Hull City, I think Hull City's got too many options already. So I think it's between Portsmouth and Doncaster realistically. And I think personally, with Portsmouth's league position and how much we're showing as a Doncaster club and how much potential we're showing as an attacking side, I reckon DoyleHayes will come into that Doncaster side and provide the ultimate competition for Ben Whiteman and Magic Gomez. So, and you got to remember, DoyleHayes is 21. If he comes into this side and shows world-class potential, if Ben Whiteman leaves next summer, whether to Barnsley or anywhere, if he does or he doesn't leave Ben Whiteman, DoyleHayes can fit that mark. DoyleHayes can fill his place because he can play holding midfield, he can play wonderfully in that position, and I think he just needs a better team around him. And I think Doncaster could be that better team. Now Portsmouth, again, they could be another realistic target for DoyleHayes to try and revigorate their season. But I'm a bit worried for Portsmouth. I'm not going to lie. 21st, they haven't got a win yet in 3 games. I would have expected a better start from Portsmouth by now. And even though the board are still going to back Kenny Jackett, which reported a couple of days ago that Kenny Jackett's not going anywhere, he is being backed. He will stay in the job for now. And I think Portsmouth fans are very angry with that because, of course, 0-0 draws with Shrewsbury and Rochdale, scored their first goal in a 2-1 loss this past weekend against Wigan, who we're facing on the 3rd of October. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Jake Doyle-Hayes, but I think that he will be a good signing at Rovers. Finally then, this is the big one, this is the big talking point. Let's talk about the crises of the Football League and the National League as well. We can't leave non-league out. So again, like the previous episode with the VAR and handball rule debate, we're going to step a little bit away from Rovers on this one. And we're going to share with you one article and I'm going to share with you another article. So let's share the first article with the call out for the government to do more to help lower league clubs. So this information is from City AM, titled Crisis in Football, Former Culture Chair Calls on Government to Bail Out Lower League Clubs. So the MPs have called on the Culture Secretary to arrange a bailout of lower league football clubs or risk the collapse of the National League structure we have known for over 100 years. The former chair of the Culture Sector Committee, Damian Collins, has written to Oliver Dowden this morning warning him that the government itself needs to take responsibility for the future of many smaller football league sides rather than asking the Premier League to step in. This is going to be an interesting debate, isn't it? Clubs in the lower rungs of the football pyramid are expected to be able to welcome fans in their matches from October, but the move towards draconian lockdown restrictions in recent weeks has made that unlikely for the foreseeable future. The Premier League has established a solidarity fund for clubs in lower leagues, but many believe this will not be enough to keep some businesses viable. In the letter, Collins and co-signees, including the chairman of Sunderland FC and other parliamentarians in the Commons and Lords, say many clubs outside the Premiership are actively preparing to make all but essential staff redundant, cease playing, close down their youth academies and community foundations, and put their businesses into administration. The letter follows calls for the government to develop a specific package of sports clubs similar to a £1.5 billion bailout of arts and cultural organisations. Many clubs in the lower reach of the Football League are more reliant on ticket income, which has dried up, than those in the Premier League, and the delay in welcoming supporters back, Collins warns, means there'll already be struggling clubs that are now likely to refund season ticket purchases. And of course, on the back of this, the outspoken Accrington Stanley chairman Andy Holt welcomed the letter, but said the government needed to go further if the future of football in the lower parts of the pyramid are to survive. Now, that is an interesting article with some debatable points. One big thing there is the big thing right near the beginning, rather than asking the Premier League to step in. Sorry, but the Premier League do need to step in as well. There needs to be government help and there needs to be a Premier League step in. There needs to be, and I watched this debate on EFL and Quest this past Saturday night just gone. Colin Murray, Simon Grayson, Dean Ashton, all commenting on it after an advert break for about 10-15 minutes, 20 minutes even, before the league will need 2 highlights. And then this virus, if this virus can teach us anything, it needs to be we need to help each other, not widen the gap. The Premier League earns millions upon millions, going into billions a year, looking at sponsorship deals, television packages, everything like that. There needs to be help. There needs to be support for the Championship a little bit, because I think they're the most fine of the EFL leagues. League One, League Two, and definitely the non-league football. There needs to be more television deals. There needs to be a Sky Sports League 1, there needs to be a Sky Sports League 2, and BT Sport, because they cover the National League and the non-league system, BT needs to do a BT VNL channel, a BT Vanarama National League channel, where matches, you can have a red button option, same with Sky, you have the red button option where you can switch to all matches get broadcast, you switch the red button and you can click on what match you want to watch, so each team gets a healthy slice of television revenue. There needs to be that option of a Sky Sports League 1, a Sky Sports League 2 and a BT Vanarama National League. Even further down the National League, even below the National League, things like the Northern Premier League, the Southern Premier League, the Isthmian Premier League. And one big debating point, and this is a big statement that I'm going to make here, I feel like as money was introduced into the game, the lower leagues were cut apart from the Premiership, the newly formed Premiership back in the early 90s, and I feel like they've made the Football League carry on as normal while the Premier League has revolutionised with the times. And now there needs to be a point where you say enough is enough and the Football League and non-league revolutionise with the times, and we can't do that ourselves. That has to be the Premier League chipping in with more money, like an emergency fund, not a solidarity fund, an emergency vault fund, where millions upon millions and millions get split into clubs. And there also needs to be more television channels with a red button option so you can select between all the matches. So take the Football League, League 1 and League 2 for example. There is 24 teams in the league. Thank God it's not 23 now. And there's 24 teams in the league. You should have a red button option on the Sky Sports League 1 and Sky Sports League 2 channels. And it should have a red button option so you can select any of the 12 matches taking place on that day. Or if there's one taking place on Sunday, then that is broadcast at that time. And the rest of the time on the channel, you can do documentaries to give clubs extra revenue. You can do interviews, you can do extra filming with players and staff and the clubs of League 1 and 2, just to give them more TV time and more revenue, because the Football League clubs are relying on the ticket sales from the turnstiles. There needs to be an addition of more television revenue involved. There can't just be ticket turnstile support, because you're not going to get that for probably the whole of this season. I think I'm looking at a whole season behind closed doors, and that's something we've never experienced before. But now people need to start waking up and start supporting the lower leagues. Now, I read something that was reported back in 2008. Apparently, apparently clubs are at fault. That was a big statement that I took from reading that. Apparently clubs are at fault. To an extent, yes they are, because to an extent maybe not, but clubs, in terms of their ownership, who grants bad owners time to buy into clubs? Who doesn't give clubs the right amount of support? Who, and I saw a Charlton fans post about this, who owes Charlton money that they didn't pay back, and now they've got the ownership changed. Thank God Charlton are safe. The EFL. The EFL need to do their bit as well. I know they're in a bit of a tough crisis right now, but so are we. I know they're in a bit of a financial crisis right now, so are all of we. Everyone is in the same boat. Don't think because you wear a suit and tie, you're above everyone else, because you're not. Now I'm going to read this a little bit, not a lot, but I'm going to link you the full article in the description down below of the politics of money in football. I'm going to read to you a couple of little bits and share my thoughts on them, but you can read the full article if you go to the link in the description down below. So here is the full article about this particular topic. So it probably makes the most sense to start with any conversation about money in football with the league, and that makes more money than any other. So this is from Soccer Politics, the website article. So on February the 20th, 1992, English Football League's First Division clubs re-signed, and in May of that same year formed the Premier League. The main motivation behind the merger was to take advantage of the lucrative television deals promised by Sky TV. In 1992, Sky TV paid £191 million for 5 years of Premier League television rights, and in 2007, Sky and Setanta paid £1.7 billion for 5 years of rights. But the television deals were just the start. Back in 2001, Barclaycard paid £48 million for the naming rights of the league, and in 2007 they renewed the deal for £65.8 million. In short, the club's decision to form their own league paid huge dividends. The path to the Premier League began years earlier, starting at the end of amateur football and the beginning of professionalism. The maximum wage was abolished in 1961, and in 1963 the transfer system became far more lenient. As the players' movement and wages became more and more flexible, English football became more and more of a free market, and basically capitalist principles took over. Football was changing and there was money to be made. There's a lot of stuff on stadium rights, jersey sponsorships, transfers and individual sponsorships. There was a story about Kaká back in one previous year in June. Real Madrid, already famous for spending 45 million 8 years before on Zinedine Zidane, broke the record transfer fee, signing Kaká from AC Milan for £56.1 million. That was back in the days of when transfer figures started going up more and more. Pelé single-handedly turned around a struggling franchise in a market that was falling to be uninterested, and Beckham performed a similar feat 30 years later when he joined the Los Angeles Galaxy in the MLS. And there's loads of different stuff, and in conclusion, while money does play quite a large role in football, the article states the game itself is still at the forefront of the sport, and many of the teams could very well play an empty stadium and still make money, and there's indeed a reason football is so profitable. That is in the top leagues. But what about the lower leagues? So that article right there, just a couple of little bits, as well as a couple of headlines here and there, was from the Soccer Politics article. Again, links in the description down below for that. That was talking about the Premier League and how that was made. 1992, they re-signed, and in May of that year, they brought in the Premier League. And it was and part of it was due to this lucrative television deal that Sky TV brought in. For millions and millions, and it kept growing and kept growing. It turned into billions not long after. Now, the big thing for me here, if I want to go along with this theory of maybe a Sky Sports League 1 and Sky Sports League 2, introduce them as a package and give the League 1 and League 2 and even the Championship as well, give them a Sky Sports Championship Channel 2, give them what the Premier League got. Give them a sponsor for the whole league to bring in that extra money. Get clubs to re-sign. Don't close down the National League. Don't close down the Football League. Re-sign them and just start fresh. Clean slate. Reinvent the English Football League. Go with the times. Make it just as important and just more financially profitable as the Premier League, because let's face it, money's not going away from football anytime soon. Money is not going away anytime soon, but the lower league clubs that just rely on ticket revenue cannot survive. So if you're not going to survive, there needs to be what the Premier League had back in the early 90s when it first came in, and that is a television package deal that's profitable and financially viable. If they don't accept that and continue going down the path of ruining football clubs, then you have to look at Rick Parry and the EFL, and they're a disgrace. There needs to be a Sky Sports Championship, a Sky Sports League 1 and a Sky Sports League 2. There needs to be a big package deal containing all three of those, and I don't mean most of the money from that package deal goes to the Championship, I mean spread it equally. Equal money for three equal leagues in the same bloody pyramid. Championship gets a third of that television package deal. League 1, a third. League 2, a third. Spread across the clubs. Give each league a sponsor. Maybe like a Barclays, or maybe like a Lloyds Bank, or maybe someone different. Someone that's willing to put the investment in to sponsor those leagues and make them just as financially viable as the Premier League. Because Football League clubs can't just survive on no ticket revenue anymore. They can't, and start refunding season ticket holders. If there's going to be a season behind closed doors, take the season ticket money and give them a free upgrade so it becomes a free TV deal. So season ticket holders get their TV package for free. And to be fair, some can pay as well. But I would give season ticket holders and I would give normal fans the chance to watch it via this package deal and give fans the chance to watch at a reasonable price. It can't be for free, but it has to be reasonable. to watch Sky Sports Championship, again like League 1, League 2, have the red button action, so you can have 24 clubs playing on a Saturday, or 2 of those clubs playing on a Sunday, so you leave 22 on a Saturday, and you have the red button option to select between all 11 matches or 12 matches, or however many matches there are on a Saturday, or whatever matches there are on a day. If there's multiple matches on a day, you give them the red button option. You don't give them no red button option on a multiple match day, because that's not fair, because then other clubs aren't getting revenue. And there's a big story, and I think I've told this in a previous video. A woman that was serving me in the Doncaster Rovers shop in town told me that the Nottingham Forest Cardiff City match was on 3 channels, Sky Sports channels, at the same time. What's the point in that? What is the point when you can have multiple matches? There's no Premier League matches. You can have a League 1 match, a Championship match, and a League 2 match on 3 channels. And instead of playing them on 3 channels that are mainly Premier League, or could be used for other programmes that are more important, like interviewing players about mental health in football, interviewing fans about their feelings, you could put Championship, League 1, League 2 matches on their own channels, in their own package deals, which makes the Football League more financially afloat. It gives clubs more money to put in their bank accounts, so they're not completely broke. And then your channels where you usually play your Championship matches, they can be used for more important things, like your documentaries about finance, mental health in football, other topics in football that need discussing and need awareness for. Black Lives Matter, racism in football, more topics, more interviews, more documentaries. And it just makes it a more equal society and a more equal game, because you're spreading awareness on the main channels while the coverage that these leagues, the Championship, League 1, League 2 deserve, are on their own channels. They're on their own package deals, which makes it more, which gives clubs more money to have. And to be fair, if you start now, the more watchable these leagues are, especially without ridiculous stuff like VAR. We don't have VAR in this league. We could become more watchable than the Premier League, and we could have the money invested on the back of these package deals, these television deals, to invite sponsors in. Come in, sponsor the league, give us more money, and we can spread it across the clubs. It just makes perfect sense. It makes absolute perfect sense. So, that's just a big debate. I know this went on for a little while, but, again, it was a massive debate that I needed to discuss. So, thank you very, very much, guys, for watching this video. Make sure you stay tuned tomorrow for another DRFC Daily Reports at some point. And for now, guys, I am the CHALL. Please like, comment, subscribe. Up and down. Goodbye.